All right. Keisha would like to know, are there any risks or precautions that people should be aware of?
It's like our gut wants to tell you no, but there are some. When we talk about like risks, we kind of go to that whole like prescription drug definition of risks. But
Right, just what people are used to.
yeah, it's the terminology that we're indoctrinated to. Yes, this drug will A, B, and C to your heart and your liver and your kidneys, and no such findings with cannabis, right? However, it's not uncommon for over-counter drugs and prescription drugs to interact with other compounds.
Sure.
And cannabis is where we can find some precautions, right? So prescription medications have interactions with lots of things like caffeine, certain foods, grapefruit will make some medications not even work in your body. Alcohol is a huge influencing factor, If you're a person that's ingesting CBD oil, cannabis oil, it's important to be aware of some potential interactions that you'll have with prescription drugs. So again, not what you're used to hearing as far as a precaution or interaction. It's really comes down to that cannabinoid therapies influence how, it's part of your metabolism, right? So including your medication. So certain cannabinoids like CBD, for instance, can interact with prescriptions. It's not common, not totally common, right? But generally occur when it's used at higher doses of CBD oil. And any interactions are relatively mild. One of the interactions that CBD can have with prescription drugs is inhibiting the enzyme system of your human cytochrome P450. That's fancy talk, but liver. The P450 system is an enzyme family that's found in the liver, and it's involved with metabolizing over 60% of medications that you're going to take. So it's important because doctors determine how they dose you on your prescription medications based on processing times within this particular system. Right. They make calculations for your heart medication based on it, or other very important system medications. How long the amount of time that it's going to take for the medication to work and be processed through the P450 system. So if only one drug is being ingested, the P450 system, and it's healthy, then averages can provide accurate dosing. Certain substances or an unhealthy enzyme P450 system is really going to affect how the drugs you're taking are processed, and they're going to metabolize slower or faster in some cases than they would do on their own. So researchers have found that through clinical trials, CBD inhibits certain enzymes within the system. And that affects the way your body processes certain drugs that are made to be metabolized through the P450 system. So CBD essentially inhibits that enzyme, making the medications that you're taking for this, if they work on this particular system, they metabolize slower or faster.
I have an actual, a little personal story about this. Yeah. Less than 2 years ago, I had a pretty large surgery on my hip. I had a huge tumor removed, and I had all these pre-tests to make sure I was, healthy enough to go into surgery. And my blood work came back, and my liver enzymes were through the roof compared to the doctor. Now, we consulted our doctor on our team, and he's like, that's because you're using cannabis. That's not even remotely a red flag. So I go back to the doctor, try to explain to him that, I use a bucket load of cannabis a day and my liver's just processing it like I'm good. Let's get into surgery. Puts off my surgery. Finally, after a million more tests, decides because I stopped cannabis for a day. Was it one day? One day I didn't use cannabis. Came back the next day. My enzymes were all the way down. He's like, all right, you can have surgery. You've cured yourself. Absolutely
I
insane.
think actually we even armed you with a research paper on
He
that.
would not look at it. He would
I mean, it
not
was like
look at
from
it.
his peers. Like it
Right.
wasn't like I made that or
No. So anyway,
yeah, which that brings us to being honest with your doctor. But
Yes.
you know, there are certain drugs, you know, that you should not take with CBD, especially CBD. But certain steroids, calcium channel blockers, antihistamines, immune modulators, benzos, antibiotics, anesthetics, antipsychotics,
anti-beta
blockers. You know, really the studies show that higher doses of CBD have more of a chance of making certain medications not metabolized as your doctor wants them to. But it's a good start knowing if you're taking a medication that might hit that list, and then bringing us to this full circle about no reason to hide legal products from your doctor. You know, and even illegal ones, right? Again, like you're on a, you know, your health practitioner is supposed to be on a team for your health. And transparency, no matter sometimes uncomfortable, is really key to you having successful anything.
100%.
You know, so when you're supplementing with anything, they want to know, are you taking vitamins? Are you taking mineral supplements? What are you taking? Because anything that they do, they have to consider these things.
And what are you taking and what's it doing for you? Because I'll always tell them I use cannabis and they'll ask me, like, what's it doing for you? Less pain, I'm more active, less inflammation. You know what I mean? I'll go on and on, but they write it down. Now, whether they do anything with that information, I don't know.
Well, and
it's important to share.
Yeah. I mean, quite frankly, and it's funny you say that they're writing it down. I mean, they haven't had a lot of it training on this stuff. So I think it's interesting to see them collecting their own anecdotal evidence, you know, drawing interest. You know, if 5 people came in saying the same things, maybe that's influencing a doctor to learn about something and outside of their comfort zone. So talk to your doctor if you're on any specifically, you know, especially if you're on prescription medications, you know, about using any amount of cannabinoids, but especially if you're really diving into heavy doses. Yes.
So Keisha, we hope we helped you a little bit on the risks. We'll use that term loosely, but the precautions, because it is important. It is important. So again, please reach out to us. Please, let's have a conversation. If you're thinking about starting just a daily supplement just for your, you know, overall health, let's have a conversation and let's try and bring this plant into your life. Thank you so much for the question. Appreciated it.